Welcome to Girl Talk. We're filming on location today at the Cambridge Winery Tasting Room. This is our first time here, kind of exciting to be here. This is on South Whitney Way on the west side of Madison. I know I've driven by many times, and the owner Frank is like, when are you going to stop in? And it's kind of fun to finally see what it's like inside here. It's very cozy.
It's beautiful. It's a great spot to have a glass of wine.
And it's a much bigger space than I thought it was going to be. Like there's a lot of space in here.
There is space, and it's cozier than I guess I had envisioned. I think just because I knew what used to be here in this suite.
Isn't that interesting? You kind of let that taint your picture of what's here now.
Yeah, a wine tasting room is a very different thing than your offices and that kind of thing. He gave a really good tip. If you see the sign in the window that says wine tasting, if that's lit, they're open. Because sometimes it's hard to know.
Good to know, yeah.
For sure. This is a really cool place. Not only do they have great wines and they have some foods and things like that, but they have stuff. If you have a wine lover that you need to gift shop for, I grabbed a couple kind of cool ones to show you. This is a sleeve. It says here, if a glass a day is good for you, imagine what a bottle can do.
I love that.
And I thought this was especially cute to dress up a bottle.
I love the dressed up bottles.
Yeah.
If you're going to a party or just even put it, I don't know.
The wine is going to a party? But lots of fun things like that.
So if he's your buddy.
He's my friend, my BFF. Give him a name.
Anyway, so lots of fun things here to check out for your friends or for maybe yourself.
Absolutely.
I think that's awesome to mention the holiday gifts. And what's also interesting, just as a holiday gift segue for you, is that we're talking to Madison Gas and Electric today about different energy saving tips. And obviously that's useful in the winter, but what you might not expect we're talking to them about is gifts to give that are related to energy for your energy lover, I guess.
I don't think of MG&E when I'm thinking of gift giving.
But you know what?
But
they're going to give us some
uses it.
pointers. Yes, they're going to give us some pointers on gifts too, so that's kind of fun.
And I do love the pointers on how to keep your heating bill down, because boy, it is getting to be that time of year where I know I'm punching those buttons and getting a little higher. You start out conservative thinking, I can do this.
Right.
I'm
See how long you can
find
hold
my
out.
sweet spot as well. I mean, when you wake up and it's 16, it's like, okay, good. It's too chilly,
It's too hard to get out of bed if it's cold in the air. Like, I need it to be warm to have that motivation to lift the covers and go.
Exactly.
And I know at night, I turn it down quite a bit. And they say sleeping in a cool room, is good for good sleep. So
Is it? Is that what they say?
Cool and dark.
Yeah.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Lots of
maybe that's why
blankets.
I wake up.
I love a good heavy blanket. Yeah.
Love that.
That's a must. What else are we talking about?
We are talking about brides and moments to cherish, just like this one.
Oh, Jessa.
So,
Yeah, speaking of that, welcome back.
Yes, I
Nice to
appreciate
have
it.
you here.
Yeah, glad to be here, and what a fabulous place to come to. I picked the right day. Not a coincidence. I came to the winery.
Yeah,
Girl
right.
talk, right?
Smart thinking.
But so Moments to Cherish is a bridal shop I've not been, and I am excited to learn a little bit more about them. But they are in Verona.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Super cute little bridal boutique. And Arlene's pretty awesome. Does what's the word? She's a seamstress. So
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
she can do your
alterations?
alterations as well.
That's
So
sort of the
she's super
old-fashioned word
involved.
for it.
Yeah,
seamstress,
yeah.
but,
I couldn't think of the word, but she's super involved and
It's an odd
hands-on.
time to be thinking about weddings.
Oh, I don't think so at all.
Well, I was going to say, though, really the planning is now, right?
Exactly.
I don't think about winter weddings.
No, what I mean is right now you're seeing all these jewelry commercials about getting engaged over Christmas or
Yeah,
New
that's a good
Year's.
point.
And if you end up doing that, we were talking about how long it takes to order a dress and how far in advance you need to budget.
It's
for
one of the
these
first
sorts
things you got to think about is the dress.
I guess so. It's just
Well, yeah, I mean, it does take a few months to come in, I guess. And then if you need alterations, women tend to, I think, try to lose weight before their wedding, and so have to get it in time for alterations as well.
anyway, she'll have
what a
some
fun
tips.
process.
Tips on shopping for a wedding dress and getting started with that whole thing. Actually, we will be chatting with her next.
Awesome.
We'll take a break. We'll be right back with that right after this.
Welcome back to Girl Talk. We are at Cambridge Winery's tasting room today, and that's in Madison. And it is just gorgeous in here.
It is.
I love being here, and it's so fun to check out a new place because we've been at their event center before. So we're checking out a new spot today, but with me now I have Arlene DeForest, and she's with Moments to Cherish Bridals, and that's a bridal boutique in Verona. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
So excited to have you here because most of the times when women, go to a bridal store, I think that's one of the best days in the process, I can imagine, of trying on dresses and the whole say yes to the dress sort of thing. So I have some questions for you regarding that. When you set up an appointment, who should you bring with you? You see some people who bring like a whole, entourage of people.
Right. It's best if you limit it to maybe 2 or 3 people.
Okay.
Because the more people you have, the more it distracts you. And also you get everybody else's opinions.
You start getting confused.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And it's best if it's like your mom and maybe a best friend, or your mom and your mother-in-law,
Yeah.
because of the simple fact that it's a little more quaint. Moms
yeah.
feel like that they have a part in it. And they're usually pretty quiet and don't give any opinions
Right. Because I think sometimes.
until the girls decide.
Right.
Well, what do you think, Mom?
Yeah.
I'm sure
And
we've all seen that show with
Yes.
with the 5 people screaming at them.
And then you have the drama and
Right.
too many opinions.
right.
Too many
right.
chefs in the kitchen.
So what should people expect when they come there as far as payment? I mean, what is the average wedding dress costing?
The average
these days?
wedding dress is anywhere between $1,200 and $1,500.
Okay. So if you start saving, that's very manageable. I mean, usually it's like a year to plan a wedding,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, the average is, but I carry some that's less than $1,000.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, great.
That's
Great to
incredible.
have that range for all sorts of
Right.
folks and all sorts of budgets, I suppose. All right, so we've come in and we've looked around, we've maybe found one, we check, we can move, we can sit, and we decide to say yes to the dress. How long does it usually take to order?
Usually takes about 6 months.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I've obviously not been dress shopping. I had no idea it would take that long.
Yeah.
You got a plan.
Yeah, you do have to plan, and then of course you have to keep in mind too, okay, alterations.
Right.
That takes time.
Sure.
And so anyway,
So that's probably one of the first things you should be doing when you do decide you
Right.
set a date is
Don't
to go
procrastinate.
look for the dress.
Wow.
right. I mean, there are dresses that I can sell off the rack. I
Right.
mean, there's no doubt about that. But we center basically on trying to meet what the girls want.
Right.
Sure.
So is it better to buy off the rack or to order?
It just depends on the dress.
Okay.
If it's got a lace trim at the bottom, you definitely want to order it,
Sure.
because we do a special measurement from your collarbone down to your waist to the floor with whatever shoes you're planning on wearing. Because if we have to bring have to pull the weight the lace up, it's more expensive than to order it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And so I assume that you have a number of different brands or companies.
Right.
Are they all kind of similar in style?
They are pretty much similar in style. When you start getting into the main big name ones,
Okay.
like Maury Lee and Allure and Casablanca, you're going to pay more.
Sure.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the dress is usually considered the centerpiece of the event, and you want it to be fantastic. And we also know how great a good alteration can make a dress fit and feel.
Sure.
So alterations, I would say, are probably a must, and everybody's different. Does that come with the price of the dress?
No, it does not.
Okay.
That's in addition, so you should plan that in your budget. It just depends on how much it needs. I would say on an average they start at $200 and then up.
So good to plan though if you are budgeting for your wedding.
And you want it to look great. You want it to feel great too, and those
Absolutely.
alterations sure can make a difference.
Definitely a key. Arlene, thank you so much for being with us today. So many great
Okay.
questions and things that I didn't know that I just learned. So thank you so much.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it. And again, she's with Moments to Cherish Bridals there in Verona, so be sure to check them out. And we'll be back with more Girl Talk right after this.
welcome back to Girl Talk. We're on site today at the Cambridge Winery Tasting Room. It's on the west side of Madison. Our first time here, and later we'll meet with the proprietor, Frank, who's going to tell us a little bit more about this space and how maybe you can come visit too. Sounds good, don't you think?
And we've only had a little bit of wine. No, just kidding.
But right now, as the temperatures go down, our heating bills go up, and so our next guest is here to help us out with that, give us some good energy-saving tips. And please meet Charlie Warner. He's the Residential Services Manager of MG&E. Thanks for joining us today, Charlie.
Thanks for having me.
Looking forward
thanks
to
for
this
being
because
here.
I know I've been turning up the heat, and at first I always start out like, oh, I don't need it up that much, and then it just starts creeping up as I get colder and the temps go down.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
So what are some ways we can get started in managing these bills that are going to be piling up?
Well, you hit the nail right on the head. This being winter, this being Wisconsin winter, it should come as no surprise that your biggest expense is space heating. So if you want to control your energy costs over the winter season, control the temperature in your home, and an easy way to do that is to practice what we call setbacks. And by that I mean lowering your thermostat some degrees for extended periods of time. So, for example, overnight, when you're in bed, extra comforter, snuggling with a dog or your significant other, or during the day when no one's home. The longer, the bigger the setback, the more savings you're going to see.
Okay.
If it's just for a short amount of time, is it worth it? Like, let's say I'm just going to run errands for an hour. Is it worth it?
It's probably not necessarily worth it, and if you have a home that has a lot of heat loss, then on a really cold, windy January day, potentially your temperature could drop many, many degrees and within that hour, and then getting it back up to that desired temperature may actually outweigh the savings, but generally, for most cases, setting back your thermostat is the best play.
And let's talk about what temperature we should be setting our thermostat to. So, for example, when we're gone during the day, what's a recommended temperature? And then when we're home, what is kind of normal? Hopefully, please say 76. No.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely not the temperature I would recommend. It is if you want to have really high bills. Yeah.
Carolina,
I like
right?
to be warm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the bit of it, tip that I give to customers. They always roll their eyes because it's sort of a low temperature range. But again, health permitting and with energy savings in mind, we recommend setting the temperature between 68 to 55 degrees.
Okay.
So again, during those times when you're not at home or overnight when you're sleeping.
Okay. I think I can handle that.
Mine's set at 70, so that's close.
I
Pretty
won't
close
tell
to
you.
you.
Too far. Yeah.
Charlie, what are some of the biggest mistakes our viewers might be making when heating their home?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question. I don't know if it's a biggest mistake, but it's definitely an unintended consequence for a lot of customers that I speak with. And you know, this being Wisconsin, it's how do we heat the home? How do we stay comfortable? And a lot of folks use portable electric space heaters, which serve a purpose, but they can really do a number on your energy bill. And it's usually a big number.
Okay.
I've heard that before, and they are
Yeah.
tempting because you get that immediate.
It's the instant
Comfort.
gratification
Yeah,
of the heat.
yeah. We
there.
always recommend customers, if you're going to use them safely and not with energy savings in mind.
Okay,
Okay.
so I mean,
Good point.
just to clarify, you should heat your whole home to a certain degree, a higher degree, rather than keeping it at 55 and then having a space heater next
Well,
to
if
you.
you lower the temperature on your main heating system many, many degrees, and then use that space heater just for the room that you're in, then
Sure.
potentially you could save
Balance
some
it
energy.
out? Okay.
But in most cases, that is not the case.
Okay, interesting.
Your bill's going to be going up, not down.
Sure.
Okay.
So you'd be wearing flip-flops and shorts in that one room.
Right.
Yeah, if you wanna trick yourself into thinking this is a southern climate, maybe. But
How about any other tips you have for homeowners or renters, actually?
Yeah, so lighting is an obvious way to save energy. LEDs are all the rage now, and they've come down in cost, and the quality of LEDs across the board from many manufacturers has been very, very strong. We typically recommend our customers to look for Energy Star labeled LEDs. If you see an Energy Star label on an LED or any other home product, that usually means that product is better for your pocketbook and also for the planet. So LEDs, energy efficient lighting is an easy way to save too.
That's great. And we almost have to go. We just have a few seconds left, but I really want to get to the energy saving must-have gifts. Can you give us just a couple quick pointers?
Well, this time of year, it's what can we get our family members, and it seems like smart home devices, connected home devices are all the rage. So you have a lot of voice control assistant products like Alexa from Amazon, and Google just released a new home product as well, and that interacts with all of your other energy devices, your thermostat, your lights. So there's a lot of cool tech stuff that's available right now that's really fun to use, but also good for your energy bill too, because
Right.
it helps you save.
Great
That's a
tip.
win-win.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Thanks, Charlie. Appreciate it. This is Charlie again. He's with MG&E. We'll be right back after the break, and we'll meet with Cambridge Winery.
Welcome back to Girl Talk. We have been having a very fun time hanging out with the folks here at Cambridge Winery. We're at the Madison Tasting Room, and now this is our opportunity to finally talk to the man with a plan, right? This is Frank, who is the owner. Yeah, we hope he has a plan. The owner of Cambridge Winery, and we've had such a wonderful time getting cozy over at your event space, and you've invited us here to your tasting room, so thanks so much for doing that.
You're welcome. Glad to have you.
So we're glad to be here. Now, talk to us a little bit about this space, if you would.
Well, this space has been open for about 2 years. We started out by just serving tastings in small plates, and it's just kind of a place to kind of hang out. We can host small events here, small up to about 60 people, so that's that can be
Small?
very sizable.
Pretty good size.
And this last summer, we just built a deck around the outside, and so during the summer, we can actually have another 30 people, so we get up to 90 if we wanted to fill the whole space. But it's great for small family parties. We've had bachelorette parties here. We've had office parties, those sort of things. And we do have small plates that accompany the wine well, and of course we've got the same wine here as we do in Cambridge. So.
Absolutely.
The good
You've
stuff.
imported it all the way from Cambridge to
Exactly.
Madison.
I like that. I like that. So how does the tasting room kind of compare to where we filmed Girl Talk before at the event center?
Well, the event center is about a 10,000 square foot facility. We can host up to 300 people there.
Wow.
So this is a lot more small. It's more intimate.
Yeah.
It's more of a kind of a nightclub, if you will, in a sense. We also have a full kitchen in Cambridge, and here we have a partial kitchen, I'll call it. We have the same small plate menus, but in Cambridge we will always feature chef specials during the open hours there. We don't have that opportunity here unless somebody orders in advance. Of course, if we know what they want, we can bring it in. So the two spaces are complementary. One in Madison, it's very convenient for our Madison customers.
Right.
If they're in the wine club, they can stop by and pick up their wine here. And of course, we have a great following in Cambridge as well. So with either location, it's hopefully one or the other is convenient for our customers.
And both beautiful.
Yeah, I was just going to say the wonderful ambiance has transitioned between both places. Great
Absolutely.
job.
Well, thank you.
You always seem to have new wines to tell us about. Have you released anything recently?
Well, we've just released our Wisconsin red wines this week, as a matter of fact.
Just
They're
in
being
time for
released
winter, right?
just in time. We're pretty excited about them. They've been in the bottle for about 4 months. They're 2015, and there's two of them. One is Marquette and one is Petite Pearl. Both of those varietals were developed in Minnesota, one by the University of Minnesota, the other by a private breeder. The earliest released one was Marquette, was released in 2006. So it's only been growing for 10 years, and it's only been making wine for the last 5 or 6 because it takes a few years for vines to mature.
So Marquette is a varietal?
It's a varietal,
Okay.
and that's the name that the University of Minnesota gave it.
Sure.
The other Petite Pearl sounds like it should be white, but it's a red wine.
Okay.
Petite refers to the size of the fruit, which is very small
Sure.
in tight clusters. 2015 was the first vintage year that we made wine in Wisconsin, and our Marquette and Petite Pearl both in 2015 were wonderful fruit. So we're setting the bar very high. These wines are drinking great. The Petite Pearl, we only have 20 cases, so it's not a lot.
Limited.
It's very limited. We have plenty of the Marquette. Petite Pearl for 2016, we were able to source more fruit. So we'll have more in future years, but this year, Petite Pearl is relatively scarce.
Excellent.
But it's really fun to say.
It is. It just sounds fancy too.
So let's talk a little bit about, so that one's limited, so maybe a great one to get in and try now if you're interested. But talk to us a little bit about kind of some holiday ideas. So I know for folks at home, you're thinking about going to holiday parties, and it's always nice to bring a hostess gift. I think a bottle of wine is a great choice.
It
My mom
is.
told me never show up to a party empty-handed.
And
There
you're
you
the
go.
coolest person at the party if you have a bottle of wine. Right? So which ones are good that are kind of good pairings for food through the holidays?
Well, the two red wines are great during December because they're dry. They're fairly big. They go well as standalone or with food. Wisconsin wines in general are more acidic than California or French wines, and so they like to go with food. They pair with anything. On the white side, we've got some that are dry and some that are sweeter, and so it'd be a matter of your own personal preferences and tastes. But they go great with well, Thanksgiving was a wonderful time to have a white wine with turkey and
Sure.
cranberry and those sort of things. And so it kind of depends on the menu, if you will, that you expect somebody to have, whether you go with a white or a red.
What would you recommend though if you're trying to be safe?
Trying to be safe.
One of each.
Yeah.
I-
There you go. There you go.
I'd bring,
Good answer, Jeff.
I'd bring one of each. We do have white wines that are semi-sweet. They're kind of in the middle of the road, so that if you don't know if they like sweeter or not. I personally was never a sweet wine fan, but I like our wine. So they had to pass the Frank test before they came out on the shelf, and so I think you're safe going with one of the white wines, and if in the middle of the road would be fine. The red wines are a little bit unique, especially the Petite Pearl. If it's a gift to somebody, you could give it to them and say, hey, not many of these around, and there won't be by the time they get back here
That's
in the
nice.
store.
I was thinking of keeping it to yourself because there's not many around.
You, one for them. You can
Tis
buy
the
two.
season of giving,
Oh,
correct?
I love that. Nailed it. And so here at the tasting room, I know you mentioned that you guys have the small plates here and also some food over at your event center. I just want to touch on that one more time so people know if they are stopping by, if they've got something to munch on as well.
Well, we always have meat and cheese platters and hummus and those sort of things here that pair well with a tasting. In Cambridge, we have more. I won't call it a dinner, but we do have entree-like special plates, 2 or 3 each night that are available in addition to the small plates. So, if you got a bigger appetite and you want to have a dinner, you can certainly make a dinner out of it. In both places, we can customize the menu for an event. We have our first wedding actually coming up this weekend on site, and in their case they actually have a reception somewhere else, so they're not going to have a dinner there, but they are going to have appetizers afterwards. So that's the kind of thing where we can customize for the event.
That's nice that you have both spaces too, like you mentioned, for different sized parties. But meat, cheese, and wine, I think that's Wisconsin for come on over. Right? This is Frank with Cambridge Winery. Thank you so much for having us here. Check out the Madison Tasting Room or book an event over in Cambridge. We appreciate you. We appreciate all of our guests for joining us today. And thank you so much for watching. Join us next time on Girl Talk.